73,000 people inside Levi Stadium. Another million scattered across the Bay Area. Celebrities in suites, billionaires on sidelines, cabinet members in undisclosed locations. The most watched American event in the world. And for 18 months, a small group of people have been preparing for everything that could go wrong. Not just the obvious things, the unlikely things, the things nobody wants to say out loud. They run tabletop exercises on cyber intrusions. They model blast radiuses at concession stands. They coordinate with water treatment plants and electrical substations 10 miles from the field. Not because they expect disaster, because their job is to make sure you never notice they were there at all. So here's the question nobody asks on game day. How does something this massive, this high profile, this saturated with potential targets, not turn into chaos? The answer is not what you think. You probably imagine the visible stuff. Snipers on rooftops, men in suits with coiled earpieces, tactical vehicles parked at intersections, military helicopters thrumming low over residential neighborhoods. And that is not wrong. The Department of Homeland Security classifies the Super Bowl as a SEAR-1 event, Special Event Assessment Rating, Tier 1. That is the same designation given to the State of the Union, the Olympics, the World Cup. It means extensive federal support is triggered automatically, counter-drone protocols, airborne radiological detection, hundreds of special agents deployed from Washington. But here is the misconception. That visible layer is not the backbone, it is the teeth. Impressive, intimidating, photogenic. But teeth do nothing without the jaw, the skull, the nervous system. The real architecture of Super Bowl security is something you never see. Before the first fan scans their ticket, the system has been operational for 540 days. Not reacting, preparing. CISA Region 9 personnel spent months inside critical infrastructure nodes within a 10-mile radius of the stadium. Not because those sites are glamorous, because if you want to disrupt 70,000 people, you do not start at the gate. You start at the grid. Power substations, water treatment plants, regional hospitals. They conducted physical security assessments. They deployed infrastructure survey tools. They ran bombing prevention workshops and analyzed explosive blast modeling software. Tabletop exercises tested emergency communications interoperability across 9 counties. Intelligence fusion centers co-located federal agents and local patrol officers in front of shared screens. The FBI, the DEA, the ATF, the Secret Service, CISA, Customs and Border Protection, the Coast Guard, 35 agencies. No known, specific, or credible threats were identified. That is not luck. That is the system working before you ever left your house. Now look up. 30 nautical miles of protected airspace, 18,000 feet of restricted sky. The FAA does not ask drones to stay away. They detect, track, and assess every unauthorized rotor within range. Operators face steep fines, criminal charges, seizure of equipment. In 2023, a man flew a drone near the Super Bowl in Arizona. He was fined nearly $15,000. In 2025, a drone entered restricted airspace above Mar-a-Lago. The penalty was $20,000, but the FAA knows fines are not enough. So behind the restrictions, there is another layer. F-15 Eagle fighters from the 144th Fighter Wing sit cold alert at Fresno Air National Guard Base. Pilots in flight suits, engines silent, but ready to go from sleeping to supersonic in under 10 minutes. Their mission is not combat, it is communication, flashing lights, wing rocks, radio contact, de-escalation at twice the speed of sound. On the bay, the Coast Guard increases its visible posture, not because intelligence suggests an amphibious threat, because presence itself is a deterrent. And then, finally, you see the people. Hundreds of federal special agents, DEA targeting drug trafficking networks that surfaced during Super Bowl week, ATF tracing firearms, Homeland Security investigations running down human trafficking intelligence, the FBI monitoring lone actor chatter, cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency advisors conducting cyber hygiene workshops for stadium vendors and broadcast partners, but also local officers from 9 Bay Area counties, Santa Clara, San Francisco, San Jose, Oakland. Police chiefs who have been meeting on this since before the last Super Bowl ended. Their roles are not interchangeable. Some detect, some deter, some delay, some respond. The Santa Clara Police Department leads at the stadium itself, but they are not alone. They are one node inside a network of 35 agencies, one layer inside a structure designed to absorb disruption and keep moving. It is not a hierarchy, it is an ecosystem, and inside that ecosystem, private security, stadium staff, and federal task forces each occupy distinct positions. Everyone has a lane, nobody improvises. And then, during the fourth quarter, a shirtless man runs onto the field. He has written something in permanent marker on his chest and back. He evades several security guards. A Patriots wide receiver chases him. He falls over his own feet. Security escorts him off the sideline. The broadcast does not show it. The announcer calls him a rocket scientist, an idiot. And here is what matters. The system did not fail. The system worked exactly as designed. A single intruder does not invalidate 18 months of interagency planning. It proves the human layer responded in seconds. It proves the broadcast protocol isolated the disruption without amplifying it. It proves 73,000 people stayed in their seats. No stampede, no secondary incidents. No news footage replayed 1,000 times. The absence of disaster is not the absence of threat. It is the presence of control. And control, at this scale, is not accidental. It is engineered. This is the part nobody films, the part that does not make the evening news. Effective security is invisible. If you notice it, if it disrupts your experience or intrudes on your awareness, it has already failed at its primary objective. The goal is not intimidation. The goal is not to project power. The goal is controlled normalcy. You should feel calm. You should buy your overpriced beer and find your seat and watch the game and complain about the halftime show. That calm is not organic. It is manufactured, deliberately, expensively, collaboratively, by men and women who spend years preparing for scenarios that never happen. And the only evidence their work existed at all is the fact that nothing happened. No breach, no casualty, no catastrophic failure. That is the metric. That is the success condition. You saw the game. You saw the flyover. You saw the final score. Here is why nothing went wrong. This model does not disappear when the stadium lights go dark. It is the same architecture deployed at airports every holiday weekend, at political conventions every 4 years, at tech campuses and transit hubs and critical infrastructure sites you pass every morning without thinking. The SEAR-1 designation applies to only a handful of events annually, but the layered approach, intelligence, perimeter, surveillance, response, human integration, that structure has become the national standard for how we protect large gatherings. The World Cup is coming this summer. The Olympics arrive in Los Angeles in 2028. Those events will require the same interagency coordination, the same invisible architecture, the same fusion of public and private capability. And if you have ever wondered how someone ends up working inside these operations, how they move from the outside to the inside of that ecosystem, that is a different conversation, but it is more structured than most people think. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more guard guides, and be safe.